Back on Inside Tennessee with my colleague John North. We hope you're having a good Sunday, and we're having two candidates with us this morning who want to represent District 18. Again, Eddie Manis not running for that representative district seat in the State House. Two women are, and that is Elaine Davis and Janet Testerman. Ms. Testerman, let's pick up on the question we asked just before the break, and that is charter schools. Number one, do you support them? And number two, do you support expanding them in this state?
Well, I certainly believe in school choice. And what I will say is, we definitely do need to continue to empower our parents to be at the forefront and engage in their children's future. We are not preparing our kids when less than half are college and career ready. And I don't feel that children need to be defined or relegated to a zip code in order to be successful and receive quality education. Education is not a one-size-fits-all, and we need to make incremental steps to put kids in environments where they can succeed and become productive citizens. And, we currently have one charter school in Knox County. And what I will say, and enrolled youth, and they are doing a great job. And the one thing I will say when it comes to schools across the state, and obviously legislation was drawn for Memphis and Nashville and their education communities. But one thing I will say is that sometimes, legislation is passed or drafted for issues that are taking place in other jurisdictions and don't necessarily apply to us. So one thing I would say is I want to make sure that, we are protecting the interest in what's right for our community and for District 18, and make sure that we are setting our kids up for success and not necessarily be defined by what's happening in other cities across the state. So again, I'm certainly for school choice and really setting a path for our children to succeed, be it technical training, vocational training. I mean, again, it's not a one-size-fits-all, and we need to be really good stewards and be champions for our children.
Candidates, let's shift topics now. As you both know, August the 25th, Tennessee's trigger law regarding abortion access takes effect. We've been sort of waiting for it. We learned last week that August 25th was going to be the official date. So I've got two questions for you, if you could answer them. And that is, first, do you support this law? Do you think this is the right thing for Tennessee to be doing, essentially criminalizing giving out of abortion? And two, is there anything else that you think the legislature needs to be done? For example, there's some concern that there may be some medical situations, like ectopic pregnancies, where there should be some protection. So let's start with you, Janet, and then we'll hear from Elaine. Go ahead, Janet.
So I am definitely pro-life, and to that, I do feel like that there need to be exceptions, and I know that our Republican presidents in the past have certainly supported that as well down the line. And so, be it for incidences of rape or incest, some people say it's a small percentage, but there are those exceptions that exist. I am a cancer survivor. I know women who have been diagnosed while they've been pregnant, and they've had to make difficult decisions. And I just, we need to really look at, I don't think it's a black and white issue. I think it's a very complex issue, and it's not, I just think that we need to look at the overall aspect on abortion and listen to our members across the state. And I definitely think we're going to see more legislation during this next session.
Janet, thank you. Elaine, your thoughts?
Well, I'm very grateful that I've been endorsed by Tennessee Right to Life. So I am pro-life. And that is one thing that I've fought for. I had to fight for my son, for his life. And we do it every day with insulin. But when I was pregnant with him, we had to as well. But for me, with regard to the current law, I am in favor of it. There are exceptions there for the health of the mother. And with regard to ectopic pregnancies, in a lot of cases, that doctor will determine whether or not that pregnancy can survive. And the majority of the time they cannot, because that pregnancy is outside of the uterus. So normally unfortunately, that baby would probably not survive, and they would probably have to do a procedure. For me, I was very concerned, and that the Knoxville City expanded the Planned Parenthood facility. If I had been on city council, I would have voted no on that, regardless of whether that was for a parking space or the doubling of the building, which the Planned Parenthood communications director said that it was for on-site surgical abortions. I'm not in favor of that, and I would have voted no.
I just want to be clear here. It's my understanding that when the trigger law takes effect, there are 0 exceptions in Tennessee. Am I misunderstanding that, Ms. Davis?
Yes, and there is for the health of the mother. If there is a certain situation that between that doctor and that mother that has decided that, yes, that is in the law.
All right, let's move to another topic, and that is the major difference between both of you, because you're similar on 2 key issues that have been in the news lately: charter schools and this new abortion law. Let's talk to you first, Ms. Davis. What do you think is the biggest difference between you and your opponent in this race in particular?
Well, I'm the conservative candidate. My opponent, unfortunately, has voted for the $100 million in taxpayer reparations, and she has, like I said, voted for the expansion of Planned Parenthood. She is also in favor of red flag laws and moms demand action, and so I'm pro-Second Amendment. I've been endorsed by the National Rifle Association, Tennessee Firearms Association, and Gun Owners of America. So I am pro-Second Amendment, pro-law enforcement, I'm fiscally conservative, and I'm pro-life.
All right, Ms. Testerman, your response.
So just to set the record straight for a number of those things. First of all, I did not vote for $100 million in reparations. The vote was to assemble a task force to look at a community in crisis, a community that's dealt with record homicide rates, poverty, which impacts economic development, impacts our ability to recruit business. I did not support reparations. Reparations, the word itself was not even part of that. I did not vote as well to expand Planned Parenthood. It was a land use issue. It was a zoning issue regarding a curb cut on Cherry Street. So I do want to set the record straight on that as well. I've been the most vocal voice on council for our law enforcement and supporting them. I am a huge Second Amendment. I am an NRA member. I've had a carry permit for more than 20 years. And, but the governor's permitless law bill that was passed, the reason that I struggle with that is because law enforcement was not for that. TBI was not for that. And right now, when we're dealing with criminalizing our law enforcement, when we are dealing with record homicide rates, I can't support anything that makes their job harder, which is exactly what that was. In addition to setting me apart, my business experience, what I've accomplished in this community, and I certainly know that I can bring that to the table to deal with the tough issues. I have been a lifelong Republican. I can assure you that I'm conservative and, more conservative than my candidate or than my opponent, who has, run this is her 5th time and several times on the Democratic ticket. So those are the things that would certainly set me apart and why I feel like I'm the best choice to represent and am committed to the greater good of this community and the residents who live here and call Knoxville home.
We'll pick up on our discussion when we come back. We have to take another quick break right here on Inside Tennessee.